Great, man. Welcome, man. Welcome to my little live streaming. And I just want to fill you up on what's happening and why I'm doing this.
Okay.
So, for a while, I've been having ideas of trying to get people to recognize that yoga is not just one type of yoga. It's not just vinyasa and hatha, but there are several type of yoga out there. And I want to bring awareness of what is all the type of yoga for people to, if they ever want to be a yoga teacher, they can just fit right into what they're searching for. If it's something spirituality, something physical, something wellness. So there's a lot of concept. There's a lot of things about each branch of yoga that target differently on our body, mind, and soul.
Mhm.
So and that's the reason I wanted to talk to you about, I wanted to invite you to my live streaming. And if you could talk, you could speak to the audience of what is Yin Yoga, so first of all, to all my audience, this is my friend Jackson, and I met him in Ecuador, right, in Casa de Sol,
Yeah.
about 2 years ago. And I just recently was done with my tantra training, my tantra yoga teacher training, and I during like I believe it was April or May, right? That I ended up going met
June.
with you. When was the
In
battle?
In June of 2022, I
Yeah,
think.
June
Yeah.
22. Yeah, June 22. Yeah, I remember.
Circumstances. Never
Yes,
know.
and it was supposed to be a 3 day at the hostel that you work on, right? You were a manager at that time, right? Or you
Correct.
still are a manager, general manager.
Yep.
And I was supposed to be there 3 days. I turned out to be there for 21 days
At
for
least.
the entire strike. Yeah, for the entire strike, I was there. And I had a great time. I want to say that I had a great time being in there in Casa de Sol. You guys treat me more than a guest, but family. And I'm very grateful for that. Um, and that was actually the first time I ever heard about Yin Yoga. You was the
Really?
you was the Yes, I swear to God, I really wasn't sure what Yin Yoga was or is and all that. I just heard around, but wasn't quite like didn't understand what it was until
Well,
I met you and I took one of your class.
I'll be happy to try to
So,
tell all the viewers and re-explain it to you.
but before, can you introduce who you are and how did you started this journey of Yin Yoga? Your
Well, my name is Jackson. I'm from Canada. I'm 35 years old. I currently reside in Ecuador, and I began practicing yoga because of physical pain. In my earlier years, I was somewhat of an adrenaline junkie. I enjoyed the sports of skiing, skateboarding, which led me to have an increase. I tried, when I was finally introduced to yoga, I tried numerous chiropractor, homeopath, just me stretching without any guidance whatsoever. And years later, maybe a good 6, 7 years after my big injury, which was a skiing accident, a co-worker in the city who was also a yoga instructor introduced me to vinyasa practice. And my first ever 50-minute vinyasa practice produced such an amazing result of pain relief from my body. I was instantly hooked. I began to practice yoga vigorously. It was not until maybe at least like 7 years after I began my vinyasa Ashtanga practice that I finally discovered Yin Yoga. And I'll tell you, like my first couple years practicing vinyasa, Ashtanga over class with amazing results. I felt great. But for some reason, Ashtanga practice, I would feel great, except the joints would ache. I would feel something deep inside. Aching would feel so sore. At the beginnings of the classes, in vinyasa, I felt I was into motion that I needed to keep the class. You know, it wasn't until years after practicing vinyasa, yin class, I tell you, I couldn't even kneel, could not even kneel with the tops of my feet flat on the ground. Squat with my feet flat on the floor. I lacked so many stages of motion, even after 7 years of practicing, that I was just amazed. And as soon as I tried to I was instantly super into it. I instantly very beneficial to my type, to my specific the problems that I basically created for myself, you know, extreme sports. So then I vigorously Yin Yoga, my yoga teacher training, which was Paul and Montanita, with guidance of an amazing teacher who Ashtanga background, and also a little bit of Yin Yoga. And I go and very attracted to that Yin Yoga, and that was really what vibed with me. And I graduated the teacher training, began teaching Yin Yoga, specifically Yin Yoga, with a teacher called anyone that's listening is vaguely familiar with Yin Yoga, familiar with. And I began to heal my joints and increase my range of movement from the inside out. And I've just been reaping the benefits ever since. And it feels great, you know.
So, can you tell me what is Yin Yoga, by the way?
So Yin Yoga is a way to stretch, heal, and grow the deep tissues of your body, which are the ligaments, the tendons, your joints themselves, and the fascia, which I can elaborate on later. But just to give a definition of what is Yin Yoga, it is the way to affect the deep tissues of your body, which, when you warm up, are totally left aside. When you warm up your body, the deep tissues are very protected from whatever movements you do, which is why when people go to do any kind of a sport, when they play baseball or football, for example, or do a vinyasa practice, you have a good warm-up because you're going to be moving quickly. You want to protect those deep, delicate tissues. In Yin Yoga, we leave those tissues open to the effect of the poses you will do, which brings, you know, a whole nother nature to the practice, which I'm sure is going to be your next question. What are the, you know, the principles of a good Yin Yoga practice?
Well, no, actually, my next question will be, what is the difference between that yoga, Yin Yoga, and the form, any other forms of yoga?
Well, you know, I would like to begin by saying yoga is just one thing. Yoga chitta vrittini rodhaha. Yoga is the calming of the movements of your mind. Now, we are all very different, and we all may have very different ways of arriving to that final goal, you know. And I will take the time to say that, you know, the Yin Yoga school that I come from the Bernie Clark, he really stresses a lot individuality. And I really agree with that on a personal level. And I really see that in my classes and the people that come. You know, some people really don't like Yin Yoga at all. They find it very boring. They find it very slow. Those are the kind of people that need a vinyasa class. They need to move around. They need to do something quick. They need to get to that, you know, tire themselves out to achieve that calming of the mind. Yin Yoga achieves that calming of the mind because it is a very, well, for those that it works for, you know, the stillness required, the focusing on the breath, keeping your mind just in one place, observing your breath and the subtle changes it brings to your body. I think I'm strayed from your question, Jose. Please remind me what was
No,
the.
it's okay. No, it's okay. Yeah, just let it out because the more information, the better. So the question was, how is Yin Yoga different from the other forms of yoga?
Perfect. Okay, so Yin Yoga is different in the way that it would appeal to people that perhaps lack range of motion, like myself.
Mhm.
People that have been born or have had past life experiences that inhibit them from being super flexible, or maybe people that are more prone to stillness. I don't know if you and your viewers are familiar with uh, rajas and tamas and sattva, the gunas, the three stages of being, the three states of being. So people that are perhaps more uh, tamas would be better for yin yoga. People that appreciate stillness, kind of heavy, calm energy. Now, this is the way that it differs. It just provides an access for, we're all different. We're all so different in this whole world. So some people are more prone to excel through Kundalini or through Ashtanga or through Tantra or through Yin Yoga. But the main difference would be that Yin Yoga would appeal more to people that are prone to being very calm, that would prefer a long, slow pose, a long, deep stretch, that may have some deep, old injuries, perhaps people that have been athletes in the past, have been high performance athletes and individuals, people that have had accidents,
Mhm.
people that are elderly and are just getting into yoga now that are unable to do a vinyasa practice. I find a lot of my students kind of fall into this category. A lot of my regulars, people that really enjoy my class, they kind of have realized later in life that there's a way to heal yourself without appealing to expensive medical procedures or professionals that charge a lot of money. They can find a yoga class that suits them, and this is Yin Yoga. A lot of people, they just imagine that vinyasa or hatha or even kundalini or something else is yoga, and that's it. And they are very surprised to discover Yin Yoga. Even yogis or yoginis that are already very experienced in a vinyasa practice, I have plenty of students that my class is their first class ever. And they're very avid, their first yin class ever, that are already avid vinyasa practitioners, and they never knew it existed.
Right. So, he told me Loudy is in the comment, and he just messaged. Are you seeing the comment?
Yes. Pratyahara and pranayama.
Yeah. It said que explique bien to explain it well. Can you explain it?
Loud, we can humor Lauti for a moment. Pratyahara. Well, the 8 limbs of yoga, you and your viewers may be familiar with the 8 limbs of yoga. Pratyahara is, of course, one of the 8 limbs of yoga. Pratyahara is developing the ability not to become distracted. Let me see if I can recite the chant. Svavishaya samprayoge chittasya svarupanukara ivendriyanam pratyahara. Pratyahara is when the senses separate from objects, when they follow the true form of the mind. That is to say, when your powers of observation and your mind become one. In layman's terms, pratyahara is developing the ability not to become distracted.
Pratahara.
Pratyahara.
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 That's right. Very
All right.
important.
And what's it? Pranayama? Is that pranayama he meant to spell?
Pranayama. I'm
Or
sure your viewers are.
pranayama?
Pranayama. is your breathing, of course, your pranayama, and the literal translation would be energy control. Prana is energy, and yama is control. I like to say to my students, I like to tell them to imagine that when they're breathing, when they're doing pranayama, that their breath is not just simply breath, that it is energy that they are taking in,
the life
that is
force.
fueling the change that is happening in their body. You know, because Yin Yoga is very passive, very still, but you know, your breath is where all the action is happening. So they're taking in energy, they're fueling the change as they breathe.
Yes, the life force of of the human. That's what I know about pranayama. Actually, I enjoy it, and actually, it helps me calm my mind. And I say everybody should take the time to try practice or do at least 5 minutes to 10 minutes of pranayama. It's a beautiful thing. Um, Another question I had before I got distracted with Laudy. I think Laudy's here just, to get us distracted. Saludo, Laudy, saludo. So what are the main principal concept that guide Yin Yoga is to practice?
Well, of course, you know, Yin Yoga is more of a modern practice, as to say that it's only been like really, you know, popularized with some very modern yoga teachers, and they bring up the three tattvas, the three principles of Yin Yoga, which are when you enter a pose, you find your edge on the edge of your range of motion, where you feel a small sensation. Whichever pose the teacher is guiding you into, you know, you want to start off with just a little, not too deep. You don't want to go too deep, because the second tattva is stillness. So once you find that little bit of a sensation, then you become still. And the third tattva is time. Yin Yoga practice is a long, slow thing. You spend 5 minutes plus in many of the poses. So you take your time, you set yourself up, you use your props, your pillows, set yourself up for success. Then you become still. You spend some time there, you marinate in the pose. I like to say that in Yin Yoga, you let the pose happen to you. You don't use your strength, you don't use any moving, any force. Take your time, set yourself up, find your edge, be still, and spend some time there. And you know what? After you spend some time there, you know, as you get more into Yin Yoga and you get to be very aware of your body and what you can do and what you shouldn't do and what you should do, then you can begin to modify things and change it as the time goes on. And you can really learn a lot about yourself and how you're put together.
Now, so you mentioned something about elderly people doing Yin Yoga because of the body, our body becomes like fragile or injured, stuff like that. How is Tai Chi and yoga? Are they kind of tied together or no? Because I've seen people doing Tai Chi and there is like very slow movement. And do you think is there a similarity between Tai Chi and Yin Yoga? Since Yin
I don't
Yoga's
think there's a similarity, but I think they can complement each other.
they could.
Tai Chi, I've never done Tai Chi myself, but I've done Qi Gong, which I think is very similar to Tai Chi. And, you know, basically when you're doing Qi Gong, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but when you're doing Tai Chi, Qi Gong, you're charging your body with energy. The movements can be very slow, but you're still moving. Yin Yoga is all about stillness. But you're using your breath, just like in Yin Yoga, and you're moving, and they're just designed to charge your body with energy, right? Like you do Tai Chi with your feet on the earth or on like a conductive surface, like a dojo floor covered in tachyon powder, or the park with the grass, you know, or the beach. And when the energy enters your body, it's flowing through your fascia, which is beginning to become scientifically proven as the the organ that transmits your chi, your energy, your bioelectricity through your body. And Yin Yoga helps to improve the conductivity of your fascia. So to explain it to you scientifically, when your fascia is nice and healthy, it's full of water and hyaluronic acid, which provides a nice crystalline structure. Have you seen this before? Are you familiar with this concept of people look at, on the internet, you see people look at different molecules or different even plates of food to check out the geometric shape of the molecules or the cells that are in that particular thing. So if it has a beautiful, nice geometric shape, the energy, it's meant to be healthy, okay? So if your fascia is full of nice hyaluronic acid, it has a good geometric shape, and the energy either absorbed through the ground through Tai Chi or Qigong, or just your normal bioelectricity that happens in your body anyways, will flow easily and better. And if not, if you're with poor health, then your hyaluronic acid will be lactic acid, and your muscles will be sore and stagnant, and you will not absorb energy. It will not flow as better. So I would say that Tai Chi benefits from Yin Yoga. You'll have a more effective Tai Chi or Qigong practice if you happen to practice Yin Yoga to ensure that your body is receptive to the energy you can receive.
Okay. Yeah, because I seen qigong, people practice qigong, and I haven't tried it out, but I've seen other people practicing, and I was like, I'm just curious how could they coexist together with Jin Yoga. Also, one thing, does Jin Yoga have to be on the floor? Because when I practice with you, we're mostly on the floor. Does it have to be on the floor, or can it also be standing?
Well, there are a few poses that are done either standing or kneeling, but because of the nature of the practice, because of the need to really relax your body, the vast majority of the poses are done sitting down or lying down. And you definitely need a base, a very good base, whether it be a floor, it basically has to be a floor. I don't know any other word or thing that would.
Now, does trauma also um, stay in the? I have heard and I know that trauma also stay in certain part of your body. Could Jin Yoga also help healing those type of past traumas?
Of course, you mean physical or emotional?
Emotional.
Yes, of course. As I was saying, emotional traumas, they can be in any part of your body. I have a friend who's a Reiki practitioner, and he often, sees people, and you say like your right shoulder is problematic, is tight. So the right side of your body is related to masculine energy, and the left to
Left.
feminine. So let's say your right shoulder, your right hip might have a problem. So maybe to do with your father or some kind of a masculine trauma, and your left would be the opposite. I can't really speak too much on the causes of these traumas and where they might lie, but I can say that definitely Yin Yoga can help wherever you have trauma, wherever you have pain, wherever you have something that you want to improve. There is a Yin Yoga pose that can target it. The Yin Yoga pose combined with your pranayama, with your breathing, is a very effective tool to eliminate all kinds of physical and emotional stresses and pains from your life.
And how? So, have you ever had anybody break down with like an incident? Have you ever had somebody have an incident where they like kind of like recall a trauma while doing Yin Yoga? And what would you do in that situation?
Not that they've cared to tell me about. I've had people cry in class and look extremely sad and like just run out of the room and stuff, but nobody has ever really cared to share any of that with me.
No. Okay. because I'm afraid that when I do teach something like that, a class, and I know that they will either just break down or just cry or stuff like that, and I just want to be prepared. Or like, what do you do in a situation like that when someone,
You'll have a
because
lot
I
more
know
people
some,
fall asleep.
huh?
You will have a lot more people fall asleep than you will break down and cry.
Yes. Yeah, I bet that could happen because I know, like, in my tantra class and my tantra practice, I nearly fall asleep like once or twice. Because we were doing shavasana, and the shavasana we hold it for like 8 minutes, 8 or 9 minutes, something like that. Before we go on to the next move, and sometimes your mind you just lingers off, and next thing you know, you're dreaming. So yeah, I can relate to that about people falling asleep. So um so I'm sorry, I'm running blank in here right now. um, what does Yin Yoga help? Well, it helps with flexibility and mobility, right? Because you
Yeah,
said it before.
healing old injuries, cleansing the body as well. Um, mostly just I find in my own personal practice, just helps you relax. Just the
Yeah.
breathing, like the breath, is so important to Yin Yoga. Breath is really of all yoga practices. The breath is such a important and central thing. But Yin Yoga gives you a lot of time to really to focus on it because of the very slow nature of the class. Spending a lot of time in each pose, breathing and stillness. It really, gives the students a lot of time to focus on the subtle movements, you know,
Hmm.
produced in your body. Like each breath produces your inhale and your exhale helps to make you sink deeper into each pose. It's just amazing how much, Yin Yoga gives you a lot of time to really observe what is happening.
Right.
And the allotment of time in your breath really provides a unique window into yourself.
Nice. It does. It does. Um, why should people, like, for the people who comes into your class for the first time? Why should they be precautious about uh uh other
Well,
practice?
I always, ask people if they have any old injuries, because Yin Yoga is really not for everybody. Restorative yoga may be necessary for some people, something a little less intense. And whenever you move around, I always remind people that when you're dealing with the deep tissues, you need to be very slow and very careful. You need to be very aware. Like awareness
Hmm.
is so key in a successful Yin Yoga practice. Really being aware of yourself, what you're feeling, what's happening, especially when it comes time to move around, to switch poses, to move out of a pose, to move into a pose, finding your edge, coming out. You're totally an observer the whole time, which is great because that brings you closer to the goal. The yoga chitta vritti nirodha, the mental stillness, the calming of the vrittis, of the movements of your mind. When you really can get into a yin yoga practice and you're just focusing on each breath helping you sink just a little bit deeper and being so aware of yourself. Being an observer is so key and so important.
Okay. Is it hard to get like? Is it hard to get to become a teacher for Yin Yoga?
Well, I don't know. I don't know if I can really answer that question, but for me, I didn't think it's something that really vibes with me. When I started teaching yoga, when I took my teacher training originally, I didn't even know I didn't think being a yin yoga teacher, I didn't even know that existed. Like only just a little bit, I was more focused on vinyasa. And that was something that came difficult to me, being a vinyasa teacher. Um, but for me, teaching yin yoga is it was difficult at first, yeah, but after the first like 30 classes I taught, you know, maybe a little bit more, a little bit less. I fell into the swing of it, and it's something that comes very naturally to me. And I get a lot of compliments on my tone of voice, I know, but you know, I always maintain the same pace. And there's a lot of, you know, specific things you can learn about teaching Yin Yoga that, you know, once somebody explains it to you, it becomes much easier. A lot of things that I had some very good teachers, you know, at Casa del Sol, teachers Tamara and Cheryl, very amazing. And then Bernie Clark, teacher training, also super amazing Yin Yoga teacher. They really, all of them taught me, you know, like how to be in the place of the student. And as long as you're there just to serve the students, if you're really there just with the students, the well-being of the students in your minds, then you can't go wrong, really, as long as you know, follow your training, keep the students' well-being number one, and that's it. You know, some people might find teaching Yin Yoga very hard because, you know, maybe that's not what they're naturally adapt to. But for me, it's much more natural for me.
Right. What are the how does Yin Yoga complement with physical activities or other exercises or
Great
other
question.
routine?
So everything in existence can be classified on a sliding scale of yin to yang, right? So let's say, what are some yang activities? Yang activities, Ashtanga yoga, power vinyasa, weightlifting, running, construction worker, you know, all
Like
hot, fast, heavy things.
that's yang, right?
Yang, yeah. So what do those things produce in your body? You know, you're doing a lot of, you know, muscular workouts, lifting weights, doing Ashtanga all the time. Might start to get a bit of sore. It might start to get a bit sore. So your muscles, they need something else. They don't need just this constant tightening, constant strengthening. Your muscles need a release. So when you do Yin Yoga, you tap into the other energy, to the feminine, the slow, the relaxing. You know, there's not just Yin Yoga. There's lots of Yin activities. You can get a massage, get a Rolfing treatment. You can take a nap, go lie on the beach, chill out in a hot tub. All these are Yin activities. It's all about finding balance. If you study traditional Chinese medicine, perfect health is a balance. It's all about balance. So you need to balance your yin and your yang. So if you have a lot of yang in your life, you know, if you're a construction worker or some other physically intensive job, or if you're doing a lot of Ashtanga, or if you just are an accelerated kind of person, it will bring great benefit to you to move to the other side a little bit, to help balance everything out. Do some yin yoga or some meditation. Take a nap, get a massage. It's all about balance. And yin yoga specifically complements things that, you know, like tighten your muscles, like weightlifting, for example, or running. When you're exerting all this strength, you're basically just tightening and tightening your muscles. You know, you can only get so tight before you have an injury or a problem. So every once in a while, you need to yin everything out. Long, slow, cold stretch. Keep your body cool. And then your tissues will release, your fascia, your ligaments, and your muscles. The lactic acid will get cleaned out. Your hyaluronic acid will come back, and you'll have a great crystalline structure inside you, and your energy will flow.
Right.
So it's all about balance.
You were before. You said something about your you were going to explain something about the fascia.
Yes.
Did we get to it or no?
We can get to it now. Maybe a little bit. We can get to it more.
Right.
So the fascia, basically every year they have a conference on the fascia. Every couple of years, there's a new fascia conference. So the fascia science does not really have its total function and definition completely ironed out yet. Why? Because the fascia is something that has not been studied. So lots of times when they were doing the autopsies or research, they're looking at a specific organ or a bone or a joint or something. So they scrape all the other stuff out of the way, to look at that one thing. But the stuff they're scraping out of the way, the fascia, turns out to be very important. So the fascia it can be thicker or thinner in some parts. It's made out of collagen or elastin. It's like a web, a web, and it's also like bags going through your whole body. Touches every organ, every cell in your body is connected to your fascia. If you took away every body part that was not fascia, you would be left with a perfect 3D of yourself. It is to say that your fascia is an outline of you. Your fascia is everywhere. So the fascia, as I said before, your emotions are expressed in your fascia through bioelectricity. Your fascia also helps your body communicate with itself. If you have an injury, your body sends messages through your fascia by electrical impulses. Your fascia will also change and develop based on your own unique lifestyle. Fascia follows function, is what they say. If you can imagine, a lot of people nowadays spend a lot of time on the computer or on their cell phone.
That's me right here.
Yeah. Oh, sorry
Yes.
about that. Letting your neck hang forward, curving your upper back, making that shape. So as you do that, your fascia becomes thicker in that area on your upper back and your neck, which will help you to maintain that, computer pose. But when you're done on your computer and you want to stand up, your fascia will keep that shape. It might turn you into somewhat of a hunchback. So it's good to do Yin Yoga or some other kind of a fascial release to get rid of that, shape that your fascia has been molding into, trying to help you out, with your lifestyle. But really, your fascia needs to be loose and slippery. It needs to allow you to stand up straight, to lie down flat, to take any shape whatsoever that you can. So your fascia, and as you get older, your fascia dries out and shrinks. That's why when people become older, they tend to get shorter. They tend to hunch over more. So if you practice Yin Yoga or any other kind of yoga, for real, your organs, your fascia, you'll be able to maintain a more upright posture.
What kind of pose would you recommend in order to keep that, like for people who work with computer or cell phone or in the cell phone all the time? What kind of pose would you?
Well, specifically for those people, there's a lot of poses I can recommend. I'm going to go ahead and talk about one of the most complete pose in Yin Yoga, which is butterfly.
Mm-hmm.
So you're sitting on the floor, you join the bottoms of your feet together, and you let your upper body hang forward. And if you don't hang forward enough, you can sit on some blocks or a pillow. But when you do this pose, you let yourself hang forward. You're loosening up. You're affecting all the tissues on your back, your neck, into your head, the backs of your shoulders, a slight compression of the organs on the front of your body, and opening up your hips as well.
Mm-hmm.
Very large part of the body affected by butterfly pose. Great Yin Yoga pose.
Can you give me two more?
Yeah, for sure. For the neck and the back and everything. Of course, my personal favorite Yin Yoga pose of all time is dangling. I was naturally a very stiff person. I had to fight hard for every bit of flexibility I ever had. So dangling,
Is that like forward bend, like a
it,
forward bend?
it's the only standing Yin Yoga pose. So
Uh-huh.
yeah, you're gonna stand up, close to the back of your mat, feet about hip width apart, and have your feet parallel or maybe a slight V stance. Bend your knees just a little bit and let your upper body just hang down. So only your legs are activated, just holding yourself up. And this way you can really release your whole back, your neck, like the bottoms of your shoulders, to enrich blood down to your head. Another wise yoga told me you can stop yourself from losing your hair by doing dangling, sending all the blood down into your scalp.
Really?
I believe it. Makes sense. And that is great too for people on the computer. For a lot of my classes, a lot of stiff dudes are attracted to my classes. Because I was myself a stiff dude, so I love to hit them with dangling. Man, they love it. It also gets into your hamstrings as well. Your hamstrings can help relieve pain in your ankles and your feet too. It's just so amazing. Like once you realize how connected everything is, how you can heal yourself.
All right, so butterfly, dangling.
So
What's the last one?
one more
Yeah,
pose.
one more.
All
One
right.
more.
Well, let's talk about a way to. Yin yoga is all about. All of yoga is about finding balance, right? So
Right.
if you're going to do some dangling, you're going to do some butterfly, you're going to want to do something to balance that out. So you're going to want to do like a back bend or a chest opener. You can lie on your back, put some pillows or some blocks under your chest or your back, open your chest up, open your arms wide.
Okay.
Do the opposite kind of motion to bending forward. Or one of the best yin yoga poses you can do, or any yoga poses you can do that's so good for the back and the spine, is just twisting.
Okay.
It's so simple. It's so easy to do. It's so accessible to everybody. And it's one of the most beneficial things. The twisting of the spine is really one of the best ways to relieve tightness and stress and to prevent many problems like herniated discs or your tendons being tight, pulling vertebrae out of their place. The twisting of the spine is really so beneficial.
Okay. Nice. That's I love the twist. I love the twist because there's so much pressure when you're sitting down. There's so much pressure in your lower back. So when you finally like lay back and you get that twist by bringing your knees up, it just feels so great. You just feel the
Oh,
release of stress. Love it. So those are good.
yeah. Instead of ending it, it's often
Those
a
are
great
three
way to
good
begin
ones.
the class. Just just start it off the most relaxing pose. Boom, twist it out right away.
The one that you get people to fall asleep in your class.
Yeah. Bananasana, the most common pose for students falling asleep. Bananasana.
Oh, it's that Badanasa. Okay. Oh, Balanasana, you said, right?
Bananasana, the
Oh,
banana shape.
Oh, banana pose. Okay, the banana. Got you.
Jack.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. What advice would you give to to beginners who are interested in Yin Yoga?
Stay with it. Only practice. Don't practice every day. Like if you're gonna just start off, once or twice, 3 times a week is great. That's plenty. And just stick with it. Don't become discouraged. It's much more effective to practice once or twice a week for 10 years than to practice 4 times a week for 2 years and then forget about it. It's a long-term thing. Benefit for your whole life. Don't give it up. Don't forget about it. And little by little, take your time. Little by little.
Mm-hmm.
Consistency over intensity.
Got you. Got you, man. Is there anything you would like to share with the audience? Now that
I
you
have
answered.
so much I would like to share. I think I already got it out of me though. I see a lot of
Yeah.
people here, people viewing, and like to say hello, especially to my friend Alex there, watching in Canada.
Yeah.
Jose Luis Carrillo, nice to see you too, man. Oh yeah. Can I go through here and scroll? Who else has been watching? Gloria, Cocteles de Gloria. Thanks for watching. Dan Gurman, good to see you watching, buddy. Mary, good to see you watching too. Yeah. Surprise, nice turnout, man. Great.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for taking your time to to come to this live stream and helping me out to bring awareness of people of the different type of yoga there are, and how it's benefit for the body, mind, and soul. And I really appreciate. Do you teach virtually? Do you teach virtual
I don't teach
classes?
virtually. No, I don't. I've never done that. No.
No. Will you be consider
I
of
would be
doing that
open
if
to it.
you're open to it?
For sure, yeah.
Yeah. Um, is there any activities happening that I could help promote for you?
I do my classes every Wednesday and Sunday at 5 p.m. at Casa del Sol in Montanita, Ecuador. You know, um, if anyone reaches out to you about this conversation and would like to ask me some questions, or feels that I've touched them in some way, please put me in contact with them. But if you could help us to promote the studio, we have our teacher training coming up in this June with Cheryl Oliver, very amazing lady that her late husband practiced with Patabi Joyce, which is, when I started practicing yoga as an Ashtangi, if you told me that someday I would practice with somebody that practiced with Patabi Joyce, or even any of his other, she practices chanting with, I'm so sorry that the name escapes me right now, but chanting the Yoga Sutras with Cheryl it's just amazing. With I believe it's Krishnamacharya's granddaughter, something like that. Just an insane opportunity to really get to know somebody that is so close to the Yoga Sutras and really expresses everything in such an authentic way. Like for me, for my yoga practice, I really stick to the Yoga Sutras. And Cheryl is the lady that taught me all about that. So thankful to her. And for tomorrow,
Maybe
you know what, thankful soul for guiding me as well. Putting me
let me
in
tell you.
with Cheryl.
Oh, you go ahead. Finish it. Finish up.
And yeah, if I had any final things to express to our viewers, I would say, remember, yoga has a very exact steps to follow. If you study the Yoga Sutras, whatever you're looking for, you will find it there. The Yoga Sutras have all the answers you need.
All right. Let me tell you about my journey about yoga teacher training. So I was planning to go to your school, to Casa del Sol, to do my first yoga teacher training. You guys were going to be my first yoga teacher training, okay? And I was excited because you guys had 300 hours, and you also do surfing, and I wanted to take that as a hobby. So I was more into the surfing and learning about yoga. But I said to myself, if you're gonna learn about yoga, you gotta learn everything about it. Like try to find the most uh, whatever school that has the most hour. And I found Druga Tiger School, the Tantra school that offer 500 hours. And then I had to like decide whether to go to your school in Montañita, which I already knew Montañita, which was a party city. And I told myself, if I go to Montañita, there's a possibility that I'll be partying and doing yoga at the same time and do everything else. Or go to Quito, which I don't know, but I'll be far away from all of this, from all the party, but and just focus on my yoga practice, not knowing what is Tantra yoga. So it was a hard decision for me to choose either Casa de Sol or Tantra in Quito. So I decided to go with Tantra just because of the 500 hour they offer. But if I was to go with you guys, I would have met you a lot earlier. A lot earlier. Well,
Yeah.
I think you guys offer a class in January, right?
It was November and June
November, June.
for the teacher
Yeah,
training course.
Huh?
The teacher training course is November and June.
Right. And I think it was November the time that I was planning to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then I was like, oh, they have another class in January, so let me try January and just postpone that one. So.
Well, hey, man, if you're ever back down and if you're going to be around Ecuador this June, we'd love to have you come and swing by.
Definitely, I am working on going back to. I am working back to going to Ecuador this year. So, and I'm looking forward, and I'm definitely gonna stop by with you guys because, like I said before in the beginning of this video, that staying with you guys, you made me feel like family, not just another guest. And I really appreciate the time that I stay with all of you. You know, from Juanito, send my regard to Juanito. I know Gabo left the place, right?
Yeah, he's in Europe, I believe.
Yeah. Looking forward to seeing you, Tamara, Shay, um, Loudy's. I know Loudy's out there. Can't wait to hang out with him.
He's watching. Don't forget, he's watching us. Yeah.
Is he still watching? I thought he left.
He was, yeah.
Loudy, saludos.
Adrian probably is. She'll tell him. Yeah.
So so yeah, man, and a lot of people that I met in Montañita that still live in Montañita. You know, looking forward to seeing them again. So especially my boy Tony. So,
Who's Tony?
Tony.
$2 Tony?
So, huh?
$2 Tony?
$2 Tony. So, but yeah, but like, thank you for showing up. Thank you for doing this live stream with me. Thank you for your knowledge and your wisdom. I really appreciate.
Thank you for reaching out to me.
Having you, and I am looking forward to see you this year again, because definitely this year I'll be heading out to Montañita and say what's up. So keep my room available.
For sure, man. Always.
And also, and one thing I liked about when I stayed with you guys, and when you guys were doing your yoga teacher training, was the morning mantras.
Of course.
It sounded so beautiful.
Yeah.
I look every morning when everybody went to the class. I would just be right at that balcony, hearing you guys sing, and it was just divine, brother. It was just divine. Hearing them.
Right yeah.
Yes. Yes. So I appreciate you guys. You work in a majestic place. That's all I can say.
We're there, man. We're doing our best to be authentic, sticking to the source.
So, well, I won't hold you up, Jackson. Thank you for being here, and you have a lovely evening. My regards to your wife. Yes, say hi to your wife, your little daughter. Thanks.
You're welcome, Jose. Thank you for having me.
Right. No problem, buddy.
Take care.
Take care.
Buenas noches.
Be well. Buenas noches.